Trends for 2024. Very exciting stuff coming this year. And for those of you who are tuning into the podcast, you're obviously hearing me now, but I got into some of the advertising that we're going to be doing on the Matrix Breakers podcast. And I want to briefly discuss that with those of you tuning in now. But if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can go in the description or the comments if you're there on Facebook. Go to the full episode and listen to it on podcast, because in it, I want to discuss how advertising is going to work on my platform. And so for those of you here, I will briefly mention that I am a distributor, agent, representative, affiliate. These are various different terms to describe what I am in a few different companies, okay? Now, these companies that I am representing are all very, very powerful. I've investigated them. They are great services, and in my opinion, matrix breaking. So in future podcast episodes, we will have various different, advertising that I will discuss before each episode, just to give you guys an idea. And I am not paid to just talk about these products and services on my podcast. The only way I'm paid, the only way I can make a commission is based on a purchase of various different products and services. So just wanted to clarify, that's just how I want to show up, is being able to offer those of you who are listening access to products and services that will improve the quality of your life, period. They're matrix breaking. They are doing things that are cutting edge. And I, as I mentioned earlier, have investigated each one of these companies to see the validity and the legitimacy and the power, really, that they have. So in usual episodes, what we'll do is I will just advertise like one specific product or two, talk about one specific service that a company offers. And in future podcasts, I will be bringing on experts in these various industries that I represent. And to give you an idea, we're talking about an AI software that I will be selling that will help business owners in particular. We are talking about a broker, being a business broker as well, with if you need access to capital, loans, payment processing, healthcare insurance for small business owners, stuff like that, or even as a personal healthcare insurance. There's services that I'm going to be offering with that. And then, of course, the long-standing, loved company, Longevity, that I've been representing. So a supplement company, basically health and wellness, stuff like that. I've been doing that for 9 years. Those of you who are products or customers of the products, been customers for a long time, appreciate you and love you so much. But I will also be, advertising just certain products that I love, that I use, that I think are going to be awesome for you guys to start taking. I do believe that the 9 years I've been taking the Longevity supplements are a testament to how healthy I am, how strong I am, how my skin's looking, everything else. So that's huge for me, testimonial wise. So those are various different companies, and there'll be a few more companies or industries that I will be representing as kind of like more just as a support to the podcast. So just being transparent with all of you. But yeah, let's get into the trends of 2024. All right. So the first thing I kind of have here is technology trends, which we can get into AI. So obviously a lot of AI popped off. 2023 was huge. There is video editing software for AI. I've used it. There's ChatGPT, which kind of, will help you with your essays and academic papers and stuff like that. And God knows what else. There's so much stuff now. You can do plugins and make entire videos based on ChatGPT. There are editing softwares, and what's the other word I was thinking about? Just, there's so many different web designing. That's what I was thinking about, web designing that you can now do with AI. One of the companies I represent, they allow you to do the same thing and actually make landing pages and stuff. And just makes web designing a lot easier. You can make multiple websites for one price. So if you want to check that out, you can check out the link in my bio. But AI is going to be powerful. So artificial intelligence is in my opinion, it could get to a point where you really won't be able to tell the difference between human or robotic, or alien, if you will. And this is why someone like an Elon Musk has been so careful about AI. I'll just say that. Somebody who's speaking not against it, but just in caution. And I believe that that is going to be one of the greatest challenges we will start to face here in 2024 is going to be AI, whether it's copycats, whether it's phone calls, fake everything. Stuff that's just going to be fake now. It's going to be unbelievable. And if you hate customer service robots, guess what? They're just going to keep coming because it's going to save companies money to just have an AI answer the phone rather than a real human. I mean, it's just going to be an endless nightmare of stuff that we're all going to realize in the end, whether it's the end of 2024 or the end of the decade, that AI is not as good as human beings. I'm listening to the book by, I think it's Walter Isaac, about Elon Musk and Elon Musk's life. Well, in the manufacturing industry with what he does with Tesla and with SpaceX, the manufacturing lines that have robots like building stuff, it's just never going to be as good as human beings. And it may be a little bit faster and stuff, but in many cases, what Elon Musk has found in his, manufacturing capabilities is that it's just better to have humans, maybe multiple humans over checking things and making sure, because a lot of things were being stopped or actually slowed down because robots were flagging stuff that wasn't actually a problem. And so the more robotic and the more, intelligent these systems were in manufacturing the building of Tesla cars, Tesla motors, or the SpaceX, huge rocket ships, was more and more of a problem. It was slowing things down rather than speeding things up. And so that's a funny part of that story. Really interesting stuff to think about when you can consider, AI and the power of AI and that stuff. It's just crazy to me to think about that. We do have to kind of be mindful of it, but just like anything, we should be using AI as a tool. I've used AI as a tool. I've used AI to make images. I've used AI to do captions for videos and stuff, just things like I write a lot though in my AI. Like I don't just be like, make a caption for this and that's it. Like I'm always like, make this caption and include this and include this. And then also in this kind of atmosphere, like this is the kind of general knowledge. Like, so I kind of put in a couple things with my inputs, and that's actually a key skill that people will start to learn with AI. If you can just do the general like, oh, do this for me, and it does it, cool. But if you can do that, but add in a lot of things that add like variables that help the AI develop a better, more sophisticated looking caption or paragraph or whatever have you, or even like image. So if you put in an image, but then you can like edit it with more details, that's going to be a new skill set, is the capability of using AI to the best of your ability. But don't rely on it. What's going to happen is, people are going to rely on AI so much that they're going to lose touch with themselves. They're going to stop reading books because they're going to feel like, oh, I don't need to read anymore because AI will just like help me look like I know what I'm talking about. But when you're sitting across the table from some big players that have spent their years, reading and doing shit that's before AI, you're going to realize that, yeah, you're not the player at that table like you think you are. You have to build a personal brand outside of the AI system. Don't get bogged down by the AI. So that's an idea here as well. By the way, AI is, I would say, part of the matrix too, when you think of how they use artificial intelligence to stimulate certain cultural phenomenons that are just not legit. I don't know if you phenomena. I think it's a phenomena. I don't even think there's an S in that. But anyway, if you can stimulate people into believing certain things based on what they saw online or what they think is viral, what they think is real, that stuff can be pretty confusing. I know TikTok, for example, uses a lot of conspiracy, weird ass information to capture people's, mind and give them this impression this perspective of the world that just isn't legit. And they do that on purpose. It's meant to confuse. It's meant to sow distrust with establishment figures, which, I mean, I'm not all against that. I'm just kind of like, when people are thinking the earth is completely flat and there's like aliens running the entire world, which, again, maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough. But I'm just saying, like, you're getting too far off the beaten path. Like, there are people who are in power who can be addressed directly, that can be named, that can be understood. I just took a photo on my social media of like Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates, and I think there's a couple others. There's I can't even say that guy's name, Yuval Harari. Can't even say it right. Not even gonna try. But a guy who writes all these books, these transhumanist topics and stuff like that. I mean, there's people you can address. There's people that are in reality that you can actually point to. You don't need to point to some behind the curtain figure. Like, it's like, no, I mean, these people are like in person, in the flesh, and they are at these World Economic Forum style meetings, that they're open about their situation. They didn't used to be, but now they are. So another huge development on the rise is X.com, formerly known as Twitter. So also kind of Elon Musk, who seems to be at the forefront of cultural revolutions nowadays. Who would have thunk it? But him purchasing Twitter was not just about, buying a social media app. Of course, when it comes to like mega wealth, you can think of him as buying his own personal brand. So he himself tweets on Twitter, which is now X, every single day, multiple times a day. It is his huge mega microphone. Microphone? Yeah. It's massive for him to have that in his life. And he used to be somebody who was a little more sheltered, a little more closeted, a little more private, building these massive companies and working super fucking hard and sleeping under a desk. But now he's kind of the same person, but he's just more open about his ability to communicate with the world. So that's him, and that's him purchasing it. But it's the freedom of information that has become a significant trend for 2024. Because of the information on X.com, we actually might get the cultural revolution that we're looking for. Because it isn't going to be just stimulated by the false reality that was pushing their agenda on all social media platforms prior to his purchase of Twitter. Now we have Twitter, which is kind of like an up-to-date, what seems to be neutral, because I see a lot of issues like the Ukraine war or Israel and Hamas. Like, I see a lot of worldly issues, and I see both sides. That's the most important part about Twitter now, is you see both sides of a conflict being communicated, openly having dialogue on this one platform. That alone makes it the most powerful platform in the world. Okay. So I think, and then he had Alex Jones back on. He's got all these various voices that when you add into the equation for the future, we can get kind of a more positive outcome. And that's what I believe because of that. So the trends for 2024 is just imagine whatever ends up happening in terms of breaking news and massive event. Twitter will be there, or X.com will be there to openly discuss the future of possibilities with said issue. So when something happens, now we get multiple options as to how we move forward. It doesn't need to just be, here's what happened, and then here's what we're going to do. I don't know why I thought of 9/11. Like, terrorists bombed the World Trade Center, and now we're going to go to war in, Afghanistan. And then I'm watching this film that's based on a true story where they were trying to link Afghanistan or the terrorism on 9/11 with Iraq and the invasion of Iraq. And we all know what happened there. They lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and they literally sent our military into a Middle Eastern country and destroyed the entire country to rid it of the Taliban and Saddam Hussein. Like, okay, well, was it Al-Qaeda? Al-Qaeda's there. Taliban's in Afghanistan. My apologies. So to rid it of this Islamic extremist group, let's just put it that way. Terrorism out in Iraq that we must neutralize before it's a threat to our democracy here at home. That's kind of the whole mindset behind the Iraq war. I don't think we're going to have stuff like that occur so easily. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it just won't happen as easily with something like a Twitter in the way, or X.com. Just look at the Israel-Hamas situation. Breaking news happens, horrible attack on Israelis, but why is America not invading and going into Israel with troops and then having them, fight Israel's wars and stuff like that? I mean, why is that not happening? Honestly, X.com. Because of the dialogue and the truth about both sides kind of being exposed there, it gives everyone a fair conversation to realize, okay, wait, the public actually has very little interest, at least the American public has very little interest in going to war and letting our sons and daughters die on another foreign battlefield, regardless of the issue, even though a lot of people feel extremely strongly one way or another. It's just not going to happen because of the various dialogue. Now, of course, we have our troops stationed there, and we're having problems and destabilization in Iraq, funny enough, where we have a lot of military there because of all the fucking years we spent banging it down to the ground. So there's certain attacks happening there that might actually provoke the United States into a larger conflict. But other than that, I just wanted to mention that. I am not an expert on this, but I know that the Bitcoin halving is going to occur. So the Bitcoin halving is essentially when the amount or quantity of Bitcoin is reduced in half. So if any of you have kind of given up on Bitcoin or crypto in general, I wouldn't do that so fast. I would go ahead and buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can before it gets halved. Now, my apologies. I don't know if it's March or May, or it's somewhere in the middle of this year where the actual Bitcoin halving will occur, and you will see a Bitcoin bounce. So that is something we can almost guarantee. If you're not already in it, you got to be in it. And the cryptocurrency ecosystem will have a massive resurgence. So with an open X.com and open dialogue there and other impressive technologies that are going to be resilient through the economic downturn that we will be experiencing, we might see a comeback for not just Bitcoin, but the entire crypto space. Keep an eye on that. I can't tell you if your space monkey that you bought that, oh my gosh, I feel like I totally forgot about the crypto art, what the name of it's called. But anyways, if you bought something like that and you're wondering if that's going to ever have a comeback, I'm not really sure about that. Market trends. So we're going to analyze the economic indicators, okay? We've got consumer behavior shifting. So with consumer behavior, we had a really slow fourth quarter. Like a lot of people were not doing a lot of big purchases for Christmas. Of course, there's some people who did, and there's some parts of the world that are economically better off than others. But as of right now, I think we're seeing a trend towards a little more constriction. And this idea, I've seen a lot of liquidation of various commercial office buildings. So you will see an actual price drop in commercial real estate. So if you've ever thought of buying commercial real estate for some kind of a business, I do believe we will see something in that area have a dramatic downfall. So keep that in mind, especially with interest rates on the rise. A personal brand is just going to become more relevant now. So I think that with the offset of AI, with your personal brand, this is going to be a market trend for 2024. You need to have a personal brand. If you don't have your own social media, you don't have control over your brand. And by the way, this doesn't even have to be your own brand. Even Tai Lopez talks about managing another person's brand who maybe doesn't have the skill set that you might have in managing brands. You need to have a personable relationship with your network, with your community, because at the end of the day, in order to beat AI, you have to have a personality, basically. You have to have a personality. And it probably has to be online, an online based. And of course, I would say physically. So building your personal brand, building out your network, staying on top of reading books. Like, don't forget about accumulating good wisdom from books and ancient wisdom even. And so don't forget about continuing to grow and continuing to learn. That is your personal brand, is the growth that occurs based on your own investigation of yourself, essentially. So try to, bring yourself out even more in this 2024. You got to, because AI will probably take over to a point where everyone's going to be using it so much, you're really not going to even know if that person is even posting the shit that they're posting or saying things that they're saying. Like, even with AI editing features on photos, I mean, it's like you almost can't even imagine how someone actually looks until you see them in person, because you can edit so much better now with AI. It's just absolutely endless. Short clips. Obviously, TikTok is trending all of the time. I do see a potential downfall with TikTok, given that they are the most censored platform now on the internet. I do believe that Facebook and YouTube have learned some hard lessons about censorship, because they've stopped censoring vaccines. They've stopped censoring election, denying, whatever they want to call it, election interference, election fraud. They stopped censoring that, and they stopped making that a violation of their community guidelines. So we're watching YouTube and Facebook try to turn the ship around on censorship because of X.com. If it wasn't for Elon Musk buying Twitter, we wouldn't see freedom of speech even considered in Facebook and YouTube's, trajectory into 2024. But now, with all the people running to Rumble and getting off of these other platforms to start their own or go to other alternative platforms like Twitter now, believe it or not, which was once a extremely censored place, we can witness that those large ships are turning around. They're making an attempt to actually go back into, maybe some freedom of speech. So that might be a huge thing. So TikTok, being that it's just kind of on the more censorship side, you'll start to see really big accounts towards the election get completely banned. Like, there will be probably a desperate attempt. And I think of Chinese officials. I think of Chinese intelligence, really. They're going to go in and try to delete and cancel all kinds of accounts that are viral, that are promoting one party over another, one candidate over another, because they're going to be in the pocket of whatever candidate that they can control. I'm just giving you that as like a little thing here. We got Hunter Biden running out of the congressional committee today. So yeah, it can give you a little bit of what's going on. That guy's having sex with kids. I mean, what more do you need to know, dude? It's getting weird. I do believe interest rates might come down just a little bit. And I only say that because we have an election year. So with an election year, if the party that's in power wants to stay in power, more than likely you will have interest rates go down just a little bit to give some credit, freedom out there, make people feel like it's kind of a pump and dump inflation, that the economy is getting better this year. So there might be a little bit of that. But I do believe that there's some undercurrents of supply chain issues that are currently happening that will take effect this year. And I don't know exactly what that means, but I do know that America is making a hard turn away from Chinese manufacturing. So we're looking to partner with countries like Japan and India to offset some of our manufacturing. India, however, is working to manufacture for their own consumer base. So they're having a hard time just with that. So we really bet the house on China. But now they're an adversary, and they're an open adversary at this point. We're trying to turn that around. The other thing I see trending is political turmoil, okay? So we really have to look at illegal immigration. That is an issue, okay? When you have hundreds of thousands of people crossing into our border, they are being, understand this, the cartel owns the border, okay? There isn't like, yeah, sure, there's humanitarian aid, if you will. The United Nations is running a program that's providing these immigrants with debit cards and money, and they're being sent on buses all over the country. This isn't just red states sending them to blue states. This is charities acting as charities, but this is underground slavery. I mean, this is like they are kidnapping children and taking them into child sex slavery. And I'm not fucking around. That is really what's going on inside of this country. You know, America is the number one pedophilia country. Number one. The Americans all over the world go and have sex with kids in third world countries because, you know, it's just like more available there. Now, however, child sex slavery is becoming one of the largest industries in the world. Okay, understand that. So that's a huge deal. I mean, illegal immigration is completely endless and insane. So terrorism, we've got a lot of that going on. Terrorism is a threat. Here in the United States, all of a sudden, we've got that attack in Israel, and it's causing a lot of rife in the communities, in the Muslim community. I mean, they feel attacked. They feel like it is their time to do something to harm Americans. So it might be something that happens. And again, it's not like to live in fear. It's just something major might happen here in the United States. Might be a building bomb, might be an airplane, might be something that we can witness. And that's coming for sure. That will be a trend. We might even hear the word terrorism lots inside of 2024 because of that. So lots of scandals are coming out as well. Obviously, the Jeffrey Epstein news is huge. But look, I mean, guys, the house of cards is falling down. You know, Americans, especially with X.com and just kind of feeling a little more censorship free, we're experiencing information like we've never seen it before. A lot of the elites in the world are kind of scared with what is about to be revealed. I do believe that. This ain't no QAnon bullshit. This is like hard-working investigators are trying to uncover the truth, the real truth, not the scandalous, insane tabloid truth, but the real hardcore fucking truth that happened on Jeffrey Epstein's island. And that is continuing to happen, by the way. There are sex islands all over the world, okay? There are more people in child sex slavery in today's world than there ever were in the past when it was legal in the United States. So there are more slaves in the world today than there ever have been in any time in history. That is a fact. Think about that. More slavery today than any other time in history. So people need to really kind of put their big boy pants on and realize that you think it's just, you know, high crimes, misdemeanors. We're talking like high political people and bankers and other affiliated companies and company CEOs having sex with kids, being blackmailed, because that's how a gang works. You know, to join a gang, you have to go and rob that liquor store. Some gangs, you just rob the liquor store and get out of there and you are part of the gang. Some gangs, a little more hardcore than that, you're robbing the liquor store, but you also got to kill the clerk with the gun. So then you go, it's a higher crime. See what I'm saying? There's robbing a liquor store, which is kind of like, fuck, in some states it's a misdemeanor now. But it's like you get a misdemeanor, something like that on your record or whatever have you. It's a way for them to blackmail and control, right? But then you kill the clerk, now you got murder. So what? You're blackmailed for murder. Okay? So the gang can essentially turn you in if you ever turn on them, right? If you ever quit the gang, if you ever want to get out of the gang, you can't go nowhere because they got the blackmail on you. They put you in for murder, you're going to jail, prison for life, right? That is how these sex blackmail rings work. You have sex with a little teenager, looks like a 20-year-old, but they're really, 14 and okay. And then what happens? Boom, they get you on tape. Why do you think there were cameras all over Jeffrey Epstein's island? That's just one of hundreds of islands around the world that do this kind of crime. They do this kind of blackmail. This is intelligence operations, Israel, American, UK, they're all into this shit. They all are co-opting one another, okay? So scandals in 2024 will be huge. So election unpredictability. Look, I don't even think you can even say who's going to be the candidates right now. Do you think they're going to let Trump actually be a Republican candidate? I don't fucking know. They're taking him off the ballots. They're going to try to find every way to hold him off the ballot in Democrat states. It's just insane, right? I don't even think he's going to be the candidate. I think they're going to come up with some other freaking person. I think that, you've got Joe Biden, who's like on the last leg there. And he's barely holding up as it is. So Joe Biden may not even be the candidate for president of the United States, and he's the president of the United States. Now, they're not trying to have an actual debate about this. They don't want a Democrat election, going on with the primaries. They don't want that. That's why Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he smelled the coffee and he got the shit out of there, and he's an independent now. He's running as an independent. And you got a lot of interesting things happening. To be honest, my favorite candidate is Vivek. Vivek is killing it. I would absolutely love, obviously, like, he's probably not going to be president, but that would be fucking cool. He is somebody who I believe has the right values. Does he have the right skill set and determination to actually run the country? I don't know. Probably not. But him running is a cultural phenomenon. It's not like politically, it's crazy. No, it's a cultural phenomenon. He is actually going to podcasts and media that other conservatives would never go to. And he's communicating and debating people on the issues that really matter. So you're going to see a lot of that, a lot of election unpredictability. So don't sit there and be like, oh, it's going to be Trump's, blah, blah. No, nothing will happen the way that you think it will. That is my prediction for 2024 in terms of the election. So I do believe that there is a shift in the way that we take care of ourselves. I do believe that in a major way, God, you guys, in Texas and in the southern states, y'all need help. And I say that I'm not on a high horse. I'm just like, the obesity crisis and people living in their chronic pain and chronic disease has got to stop. There are ways to reverse disease more than we have ever known. Like, and it ain't like try everything. It's like there are absolutely some golden goose concepts out there right now that you can take advantage of if you're feeling unhealthy, and you can get healthy. You can lose the weight. You can make shit happen. You can change your fucking life. And to sit here and witness the absolute disgusting decline in health in Americans today is absolutely pathetic to me. It's one of the chronic issues in this country. And if you're sitting on your high horse thinking that, oh, politics, oh, I know everything about everything. Dude, you're 58 pounds overweight. You're unhealthy as shit. And you're eating like shit. I cannot listen to what you're saying. I physically can't hear you because my mentality checks out when your body is not in control. When you have no discipline over how you show up and how your health is, just tells me everything I need to know. And I do mean that with the most respect because I know people who were raised a certain way. They ate what their parents ate and, they were chronically put into a position of being extremely unhealthy and overweight because of their family. I get it. But guess what? You're over 18 and you're still looking like shit. You need to start cleaning that up. And I love you. I say that because I love you and I want you to be better. And that's why I think longevity products are good for you. Get on the right nutrition. Realize that a lot of our debilitating diseases and even being overweight deals with nutritional deficiencies. It's not like all ice baths, man. It's more than that. So I do see natural remedies, natural methods of healing will trend in 2024. Like it's happening, but I really believe that with a lot of what's Instagram's promoting now, a lot of big TikTokers and influencers in the healthcare space. When I say healthcare, I guess I mean like real health and wellness. I do believe that we're going to see a change. I am confident that we will see a massive change in health. I need you guys to shift. I really do. It's something that plagues me heavily, is the health of this country. It really bothers me, and I want people to make that happen. So the last thing I'm going to say on this podcast is a major international event will occur. I don't know yet what it is. It's probably going to be war. It may be China invading Taiwan. We're all kind of looking at that. But at the end of the day, China would only do that out of desperation. There's really no economic or physical agenda that would actually make sense for them to do that. because if America does a blockade on China or has any kind of sanctions on China, China would legit collapse. I mean, they are not as strong as what people think they are. They will collapse. I mean, we've got the largest navy. It's too much to make a move like that right now. Might be kind of crazy for them. So if that doesn't happen, it could be something else. It could be a major conflict. It could be another disease. They could be doing a cyber attack. I might be the first to say that here. But cyber attack 2024 could be a thing. And I say that because it's kind of a perfect weapon because it shuts everything down and it kind of gets a one track source, which will be radio more than likely, where it's all government run. So we might be in a place where it's everything shut down and we've got to like reboot and it's Russia. They're going to blame Russia, but it might even actually be the American government or people inside the government doing something shady and they cyber attack a city or they do a kind of a test pilot. Maybe you're going to start seeing maybe like a school or some kind of terrorism. They're going to blame it on the jihads over there and Hamas or some shit. They're going to blame it on somebody and say, oh man, this major financial building just cyber warfare happened, blah, 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 blah. You're going to start seeing some stuff like that this 2024. Cyber attacks 2024 will absolutely be a trend. So take a peek for that. And again, protect yourself, protect your Bitcoin, protect, your house, all that kind of stuff. So think about that as we move into that in 2024. And yeah, I absolutely appreciate all of you tuning in. And man, we're looking to really rock it and have a great 2024, guys. There's a lot of opportunity here. Especially with what I'll be promoting to you guys, and I'm bringing on guests, and I'm bringing on people that I believe are going to make a positive change for your life. So I'm excited for that as well. And if you are interested in being a guest, let me know. Let me know what you can bring that's valuable to this audience. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.